The great thing about the JavaScript API is that it allows you to use your custom portal or application to completely replace the Tableau server user interface. The problem is that the user interface exposes a lot of useful functionality, such as showing you the share dialog, downloading the workbook, exporting as a PDF or as a JPEG, those kinds of things. Well, you can do those with the JavaScript API, and that's what this lesson today is about. If you're following along, make sure you have your HTML and JavaScript from the end of the last lesson, or download the zip from this page and find your lesson 7 start file, the JavaScript file, and rename it tutorial. Let's get started by opening this in Notepad++, scrolling all the way down to the bottom. And I'm just going to start building out some utility functions that you can do. First thing you might want to do is show and hide your viz, the whole embedded Tableau visualization. And you can do that. Instead of creating two separate functions, I'm going to just create one that toggles whether it's shown. So I'll call it show hide. And the first thing I want to do is check if the viz is hidden. So we'll say if viz.get is hidden, then we want to show it. viz.show. Else we want to hide it. That's all there is to that function, so let's go ahead and save it. Now let's edit our lesson 7 start HTML file and expose a button to let us call that show hide function. First thing I want to do is give ourselves a new nav header here. We'll call it utility functions. Second thing I want to do is grab a button, copy it, and paste it. We'll call it show hide. And all it's going to do is call that show hide function. So we'll save that and we'll open it in Chrome. And now if we click our show hide button, it goes away and it reappears whether we click that when it's on or off. The next thing I want to do is create a function that will allow us to see the export as PDF dialog. This one will be actually pretty easy to make. We'll just make a new function, call it export PDF. And what it's going to do is it's just going to call viz.show export PDF dialog. Save the JavaScript file, go back to our HTML, grab a new button, and we'll call it export PDF. And we'll have it call that export PDF function we just created. Save that, run it once again. And what happens is when we click it, we get that pop-up that allows us all of the export as PDF options. Pretty useful for if you are going to want your end user to be able to export as a PDF. Now there's a variety of export functions you can do. I'm not going to sit here and create a new button for each of them, but we'll just discuss what all of those options are. So there's a viz.show export image dialog. There's a viz.show download workbook dialog. A viz.show export data dialog. Viz.show export crosstab dialog, And finally, there's a viz.showShare dialog. And those do exactly what you think they would do. They just give you a pop-up that allows you to change the options if they are there, and then export or show the share dialog, etc. The next thing you might want to do is resize the viz. So let's create a function called resize. And we'll allow the end user, the user of this function, to decide what the width and height they're going to be. And you just call viz.set frame size with the width and the height. Let's go back to our HTML. I'm going to create two new buttons actually. First one will make this small, so we'll call it make small. And it's going to call the resize function we just created with a width and a height of 400. The other one's going to make normal. And so once we made this a dynamic function, we can call the same function resize and call it with 640 and 500 for the height. Same thing we started with. So we'll save that. We'll run it in Chrome. And make small, we'll make the viz small, and make normal, we'll make the viz normal. Now, one thing to talk about here with the resizing of the frame, the behavior is going to depend on when you were in Tableau Desktop, did you set automatic sizing or did you set exact sizing? If you've set exact sizing and you resize the frame, you're just going to get, the viz isn't actually going to resize. You're just going to see a window of that viz. Whereas if you have automatic sizing, then Tableau will automatically recreate all those marks for you so that they fit into the frame that you've created. Another useful button in Tableau Server is the ability to pause automatic updates. This is useful for a variety of reasons, and it just looks like viz.toggle automatic updates async. I'm not going to create a function for it here in this tutorial series just because we don't let you do that in Tableau Public. That would be a functionality for if you have a paid version of Tableau Server. Another function that we might want to create is the ability to just dispose of our visualization. And that's pretty easy to do. It's just viz.dispose. Create a new button. Call it dispose viz. And it's going to call that function we just created. Open that up in our browser. And what it does is it just gets rid of your visualization. It's not hiding it. You can't bring it back. Can't filter it. It's completely gone. It's been erased from our memory and from the web page. Only way to get it back would be to refresh. So that's pretty much all of the utility functions that there are in the JavaScript API. Pretty useful set of tools to immerse your visualization inside of your web page so that you don't have to use the toolbar. And I hope that you've learned a little bit from this tutorial video. Thanks for watching. Bye.